Hello everyone and welcome back to another Wizard101 tier list video. Oh my god, I just realized I didn't click out the ad and there is Mr. Beast on the right side of my screen. Anyways, welcome back to another tier list video. Now, I'm not going to be doing a really long tier list video. It is quite late. I'm not going to say I didn't forget to record a video. It was more that I've just been busy throughout the day, so I haven't recorded a video. I found this tier list, which is ranking the worlds, but what I'm doing today actually is ranking the music. I got a request to rank all the musics. I do love the music in this game. It's probably one of my favorite parts. So we'll be listening to the soundtracks as we go, as I'm ranking world to world and seeing what's first. So right here we have Wizard City, which you can hear in the background. Personally, so this is actually the old Wizard City soundtrack. I couldn't find the new, well, I probably could find it if I tried, but the Wizard City soundtrack I didn't really find I didn't find, basically, sorry, I just spaced out. Wizard City soundtrack. What do I think of it? I liked the old one better, the one we're currently listening to. Obviously that's nostalgic as hell. The new one is significantly less nostalgic. So, in regards to Wizard City, if we're ranking it by the new one, probably a B tier, but the old one an A tier. So I'm going to put it solid A tier for the memories. Obviously, it's iconic. You know, listening to it since the dawn of time, whatnot. You know, it's a really good soundtrack. Next is Crocotopia. As you can hear, this soundtrack is probably my favorite of all time. I'm going to put it in the favorite tab, but listen to me. This soundtrack is so good. I'm just vibing to it now. You can see me bouncing. It is a fantastic soundtrack, and it captures the essence of the world perfectly. The fact that they managed to perfectly encapsulate the world throughout not only the main soundtrack, but the... just basically you're getting the vibe of adventure and exploring and delving into this ancient ruin, also with the mystique and whatnot. And then you have stuff like the combat theme right here, which is obviously also iconic as hell. So obviously I feel like I need to give that a favorite because it is probably my favorite soundtrack of all time. I always look at Crocotopia, look forward to it just for that reason. Next we actually have Wisteria, which is also iconic. All of these are really iconic. I remember them, you know, super well. But personally, Wisteria for me is not as memorable. It's kind of like, it's almost like Wizard City, but a little bit cheap. Also, I don't like how these are like different levels of sound. I personally, it doesn't hold nearly as much nostalgia as some of these other worlds do for me, but it is good. Now, let me say, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be really, really hard for me to put the soundtracks below C tier because I love almost all of them. But I think definitely Wisteria is one of the weaker ones just because it's not as interesting. And God, it's so quiet. It's like the varying levels of sound is kind of jarring. Next is Marleybone. There we go. Look at that. Listen to that. Oh, it's so iconic. Marleybone soundtrack, let's be honest, is one of the best ones. Just so good. It captures the Victorian Britain vibes so well with the also the mystery. I love how just listening to it, it almost gives you the Sherlock Holmes vibe that the world does, where it's like investigating detectives while also being light but also darker in a few places. Like those bells right there, very good, very dark. The themes are very good, and obviously that goes for all of the things like the combat theme as well. This is the two main things. The main things I'm doing are the combat theme and the main theme, but both are really good to the point where I would probably give, you know what? Let's actually move Wizard City down to B just to give room for the upper worlds. I would definitely put Marleybone into A. It's one of the most iconic soundtracks, and it's one of the best ones. Please let me switch to Mushu. God, it is so loud. Next is Mushu, which is another one of my favorites. It's very hard to rank these because I love all of them, and they were my childhood, definitely. I would definitely put Mushu at favorite. Similar to Crocotopia, it perfectly captures the world. The mystique of it, along with capturing those the sounds used by specifically those cultures. Like, this sounds very Eastern, and it's very easy to see that, and I feel like it makes the world all that much better. And without the music, like, what are these worlds without the music? Like, one of the most defining features for all of these is the music, and I think that's really important to recognize. Sorry, I just scrolled around a bit on accident. Next we'll go for Dragonspire, which, let me tell you, is really good music for a final World of the Ark. Let me turn this down slightly because I'm losing my hearing. Dragonspire, I believe, is some of the best Ark, end of Ark music out of all of them. All of them are incredibly good, but I feel that Dragonspire especially is one of the better Arc ending ones. You can kind of see already I favor Arc 1 a bit more than the other arcs, but I definitely think that it deserves it. Like, just listen to this music. It's so good, and it's so good at capturing the fact that this is it. Like, this is what you've been going through the entire time. Also, it gives off the military vibes, as you can hear. It kind of gives off that military sound, which Dragonspire is a militant world, so it makes sense. I feel like they're very good at capturing that, just the essence of the world in the music. Next is Grizzleheim, which... What? Wait, no, why is this playing the Wizard... Okay. Please skip that. Oh, it's so loud. There we go. Jesus Christ, I just died. Next is the Grizzleheim music, which is fantastic. Another one that I would consider to be one of the top tier tracks. I'm going to put it into A tier, not favorites, because it's not really one of my favorites, but they managed to capture the horn in the back is so good. It perfectly captures exactly the Nordic feel that it should feel. I think it's also important to point out Wintertusk music, which has a similar vibe to it with the horns and everything, but it's a bit more relaxed but also mysterious, which I feel like is perfect for the dichotomy between the worlds. The first world, Grizzleheim, is about war and the warring factions and the issues that have risen from those. The Wintertusk is about the coven, the magical aspect, the more mystique of the worlds, and I feel like that is really shines through, and that's why Grizzleheim's one of the better ones. Really, for me, it's just a matter of the fact that I don't like Grizzleheim as much as I like Crocotopia or Mushu. It's kind of influencing it. I guess if I rank it by music, Grizzleheim is also just up there, but realistically, that's really difficult because all of the musics for me are up there. But if I want to say a match to the world, if Grizzleheim was a better world, this would easily be one of my favorite soundtracks because it also has to do with length. For example, coming up is Chrysalis. You'll see my thoughts on that, but I think that the length of the world strongly has to do with how good the music is. So I'll put Grizzleheim at A, but it is definitely a good world. Next up, let's get... Why can't I not see my mouse? That's actually very distracting. Hopefully you guys did not see my Control-Alt-Delete there. It doesn't really matter. Let's go to Aquila, which is loud, I think, or is it quiet? There we go. Aquila, for me, also is a very fitting soundtrack, and the reason why I love this so much is because Aquila is short. The dungeons are shorter, and it works for them. Aquila obviously has a really good theme, as you can hear. It's just fantastic in regards to fitting that. But it's also important to listen to the combat themes, which... epic, you know, epic is the way to describe it for me, is it really fits the fact that you're going to battle with gods, which is what it should be. This is the boss combat theme, which is even more epic. The horns just in the background blaring, showing that this is really an intense fight. This is the epic soundtrack, which is just as epic sounding. That's the word I would like to describe it as. It perfectly fits the fact that this is a challenge against the gods. And I feel like that perfectly is encapsulated in Aquila, which is why it's one of my favorite worlds. So I'll put it into favorite. Definitely incredibly good. Now we're getting into Arc 2 worlds, starting with Celestia, which, let's be honest, Celestia, despite being a meh world, has a really good theme. It perfectly fits with the exploration feel to it. The fact that you're entering this underwater world, it definitely does give me water feels. I don't know how they managed to do that, but they did. And also, all of this alt tabbing is making my mouse disappear, which is just really annoying. Anyways, moving on. Not moving on. Let's listen to some of the other ones, because I feel like that's important as well. You have Storm Riven, which this definitely gives the water vibe. But I think, where's the mystical one? This one. This perfectly, for me, captures the Celestians, which are supposed to be this astral, mysterious, and advanced civilization that was wiped out. And I feel like this definitely does fit that almost perfectly, which is why I definitely feel like A for Celestia works, because despite Celestia being a bad world, I feel like the music itself is really good. Again, as I've said, it's kind of easy to see that the music in this game is just absolutely fantastic. Let's actually, while we do this in tier list, let's rank it by my favorites as well, because I feel like that's important, right? So, if we rank it, actually right now it's decently close to my favorite. The only thing I would do is maybe bump Marleybone above Aquila. So maybe switch it out like this. This definitely... Okay, I feel like this right here is my favorite musics, if we're ranking them by that. I'll rank them by favorite from now on, because I feel like that makes sense to do in regards to the music. I feel like if I rank it by favorites, it kind of shows that, you know, it's not just a tier list, it's me actually ranking it. So, you know, that's pretty cool. I feel like that adds to it. All right, so next, moving on, is Zafaria, which, let me tell you, Zafaria is also one of my favorite themes. It's so just, it's a vibe, you know, a bop. You're just chilling to it, and it does not match the world in quite a few places where, considering the world is incredibly dark, but I love the tribal music. They actually have themes for all the different towns. You can see Stone Town, you have Morganth theme, you know, which is more intense, definitely. This world, I feel like, has some of the best variants in their music, which is why I would definitely put it up here above Celestia and even above Grizzleheim. I feel like in regards to variants, it's super good, because not only does it manage to capture the uplifting and kind of the peaceful vibe that the world gives in the beginning, but also the tribal and the more intense and darker themes as well. You can just hear, it's really nice. I think the Zafaria is one of the strongest ones. Next is Avalon. Avalon is another fantastic music, because it captures the feudal, especially like the flute, which is, the flute is notorious for being one of the more feudal instruments. Also, there's the chanting in the background, which is strongly based on like Gregorian chant and stuff like that. It very much captures feudal Europe perfectly, even, which is why Avalon, for me, is up at the top in favorites. I'd probably put it like right below Mushu. I think Mushu, for me, is very I think it's impossible to beat out. It's my favorite world and my favorite music to go along with it, just because it fits the world so much. And I really respect the artists for going into a Eastern style in this, because I'm pretty sure that all of these come from the same artist. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they are. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think so. That's where I'd put that. God, my mouse keeps disappearing, which is really annoying. Next is Azteca, which, this is a theme that, in my opinion, suffers from the length of the world. Azteca is almost unbearably long, and if it wasn't so long, I feel like the world theme would be good. It's just the problem that I've heard it too much, which Chrysalis, you'll see, is the same for me. But Azteca for me is a really good theme. I really like how it captures the style of music and the tribal aspect of it. Jesus Christ, that was a hard voice crack. Aspect of it. But personally, Azteca for me is, I don't like it as much as these. If I had to choose, like, if I was listening to music on a regular basis and someone was like, just pick a theme from a game, right? I would probably choose Azteca significantly less than I would choose any of these. Actually, I would probably choose it less than Wisteria, so I'm going to put it down here. Which, you know, I find this to be annoying because it's like I'm not even using these bottom tiers. You know, I'll put it down here into D just to make use of the bottom tiers. But know that instead of being like an S to F tier, right, it's more like narrow. The difference between S and F isn't bad and awful, or not good and awful, it's good and less good is kind of what I'm saying. It's good but painful. All right, next up on our list, let's pull this up here, is Chrysalis, which is this. Now, can I tell you the problem with this? Chrysalis is like 20 hours long, 25 hours long, to 30 hours, possibly even 40, depending on how fast you go. I've had to listen to this for way too long. I'm tired of it, and for that, I'm putting it into worst. It is good music, don't get me wrong. I actually do enjoy the Chrysalis music sometimes. I enjoy it whenever I get there, but by the end, I'm like, God, my ears are gonna bleed. I'm so tired of this music. And it's for that reason alone, that it's not higher on the list. It's just because of the length of the world. If the world was shorter, like significantly shorter, the music would be better. It's just the replayability on it is not a 40-hour replayability. It's maybe like a 10-hour replayability, if you get what I'm saying. Next up on our list is Polaris, which, let me tell you, I love Polaris. One of my favorite worlds. This is graduation. Oh my God, it's so loud. Help, 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 help. It's so loud. Okay, that's the Ravenwood graduation theme. Let me get to the Polaris main theme. Walrusburg theme, right here. I love this theme. Polaris is one of my favorite worlds, and it definitely works. I feel like they definitely got the revolutionary feel to it. It's definitely uplifting in parts, but downbeat in parts as well. Throughout the entire world, it has the horns in the background, which really further the world a lot, in my opinion. I would definitely put it up here, like next to Zafaria and Aquila. Definitely one of the better world themes. Let me pause the video and pull up the rest of these musics, all right? All right. Here on our list now is the Arcanum theme, which, as much as I would like to put it higher, it's just not really all that impactful. I think that's the issue, is it's not even like it's bad. It's just not impactful because you're barely there, and it isn't really that intensive music. But it isn't that bad. It's not as bad as like Chrysalis, for example, who I'm tired of listening to. I would definitely put it like D tier, behind Azteca, but definitely above Chrysalis. I wouldn't choose to listen to this regularly. It's definitely a theme, which I think is, you know, cool. Please stop removing my mouse from existence. All right, next we have Mirage. I love Mirage because not only is the theme good, but the world's good. The quests are interesting, and the world altogether is pretty interesting. For me, it's probably... my problem is that it's not as impactful for me as worlds such as Dragonspire, Wizard City. I definitely would put it... it's definitely a good theme, don't get me wrong, but it's just B tier purely because the impact of Wizard City and Dragonspire is insane in comparison. All right, next up is Imperia, which we have here. Okay, this is the Tiki Tavern. Let's go to the aerial theme. So, Imperia has a lot of themes, a lot of long themes. You can see I can go through them. There's a lot of themes, right? My problem is I don't remember them. I don't remember them at all. If someone asked me, hum the Imperia theme, I would not be able to in the slightest. which is the complete opposite for most of these. Like, if someone told me, hum the Celestia theme, I would be able to do that right away. Dragonspire, I'd be able to do that right away. Crocotopia, Marleybone, any of them, if you ask me, I would be able to hum. This one, no. It's just, it's lost on me, which is why I have to put it at E tier. Imperia for me wasn't an impactful world to begin with, but the theme itself just wasn't that memorable, which is the issue with it. Correct me if I'm wrong, I just thought it wasn't that memorable. And last on our list is Caramel, which, let's see if they have it here. It's not in this playlist. Can I get the Caramel? Can I pull up the Caramel theme right here? Caramel, I actually really liked. Yeah, this is the, okay, let's go to the Caramel City theme. Yeah, I love this theme. I can't really rank it because physically, but if I had to put this in regards to impact, I'd probably put it between Wizard City and Dragonspire. Definitely one of my favorite themes. I just think that it's not as impactful as some of these other ones, like Aquila, that matches the world so much, and Marleybone and whatnot. But that's it to this video. I'm just bouncing with the Caramel theme, and that's where we'll end it. Jeez, this will be uploaded late because, again, I've been busy the entire day. Tomorrow, I will have another video out probably a lot earlier because I don't have school tomorrow. It's a holiday. So anyways, I'll see you then. Like and subscribe if you want to. Have a fantastic day. Thank you all for watching.